How's it going, everybody? This is Top Driver. Hope you're having another great day, and welcome back to another video. Alright, so next Saturday will be the Lunar New Year, in which the Chinese celebrate another new year of hope, happiness, and a whole lot of fun. And unlike us here in America, the Chinese, as well as those that are Asian Americans here, they usually celebrate Lunar New Year a whole lot more differently than we do. In fact, there are a lot more interesting and unique things about the way they celebrate Lunar New Year that in ways they have a lot more fun with their celebrations than we do sometimes here in America. And I thought I'd talk a little bit about them here. And so for this video, I'm going to share with you 5 fun facts about Lunar New Year. Some of the most interesting things about the way the Chinese celebrate Lunar New Year. Now, obviously, there are a whole bunch of ways that people celebrate Lunar New Year. However, I'm going to share with you the 5 that I think are the most interesting. And the first one of which is that it starts on a completely different day every year. Now, obviously, as we all know, for all of us here in America and around the world, the New Year obviously starts on January 1st. But for those that celebrate Lunar New Year, it's a lot different. Unlike here in America, their New Year usually starts a completely different day. So this year, it's actually going to start on February 10th. Last year, it was actually January 22nd. So it usually starts on a completely different day compared to what we usually do in America. So usually, it will mostly be sometime around January or February, because this is usually around the time that Lunar New Year most often happens. Not only that, unlike here in America, Lunar New Year is actually a 15-day celebration. So there's actually 15 days to celebrate Lunar New Year. And usually there will be a lot of food, there's going to be a lot of partying, as well as a festival or two, and really just a whole lot of giving to the Chinese culture, obviously. And so obviously, with the fact that there's a much longer celebration of the New Year than there is here in America, it means more opportunities for the Chinese to get to celebrate what is the start of another fun year. So yeah, not only does it start on a different day, there are also a lot more days in their New Year celebration than there are here in America. So obviously, you can really do whatever you want during that 15-day time span. And for those that celebrate the Lunar New Year, that obviously has to be a whole lot of fun. The second fun fact that I'd like to talk about here is that for every Lunar New Year, there's usually a symbol of a different animal that usually represents it every single year. So usually, there would be at least one animal every single year that would represent the Lunar New Year for that year. And that would usually change every single Lunar New Year that takes place afterwards. So to explain this, last year was the celebration of the Year of the Rabbit. Now this year is going to be the celebration of the Year of the Dragon, which obviously is a non-fictional animal, but they still celebrate that. And then next year, in 2025, they're going to be celebrating it with the Year of the Snake. So every single year, a different animal takes the symbol as the symbol of the Lunar New Year. And obviously, as I said before, it varies every single year. I kind of find it interesting that they do this because no other country, as far as I know, usually does something like this, in which there is a symbol of a particular animal that they celebrate during the year, or maybe something completely different. Here, the fact that they do this every year with a completely different animal, I think that is really unique, and I think that's something that should be appreciated, because obviously every animal means a different meaning for their particular New Year, and most of the time it brings a lot of good luck. The third fun fact I'd like to talk about is that kids will usually get red envelopes, and usually most of the time there will be 4 Chinese dollar bills in them, which means the kids, they basically get a good luck charm to start the year, which means they get to do whatever they want with it. And so obviously with these kids, you know, obviously they will be gifted these red envelopes from their parents and their families, and usually there will be at least 4 or 5 dollar bills or something like that, and usually they would have the Chinese symbol on that. And so usually what they would do is that they would usually use that money to spend on whatever they want, obviously, or maybe even just keep it around and save it for, you know, as long as they can to maybe, you know, make enough of it so that way they can get whatever they want. Now again, I don't know exactly what the dollar sign is in China compared to what it is in America, but I have to imagine that it's quite a bit. I find it really fun because obviously kids get to have a lot of fun with the Chinese New Year in regards to this kind of stuff. I really wish we had that same thing here in America. In fact, getting the New Year started with a gift like that every single year, it definitely would make it a whole lot more fun for us than how we usually celebrate New Year. I'm sure some people do it, but hey, the Chinese do it every single year, and I definitely find that to be very interesting. The fourth fun fact is that usually there are Hawaiian dances that would take place during the Lunar New Year. Now, this is a very popular part of the Lunar New Year because usually most of the time during a festival or something like that, maybe in some sort of a celebration, chances are there's going to be a lot of Hawaiian dancing. Usually most of the time there would be like a few people, maybe even like a community or a school, they would usually dress up as dragons, and then usually most of the time they would just run around during festivals and usually just do a bunch of dances in their Hawaiian suits, and we would just entertain the crowd and all of that. In fact, that's something that we usually do at the New Jersey Symphony. We would actually have the people of the Edison Chinese School Hawaiian dance team come over to our Lunar New Year celebration, and they would usually perform a Hawaiian dance at the beginning of the concert, usually to Spring Festival Overture, because that's a very popular piece in which this dance is performed. So yeah, chances are if you're ever at a Chinese festival during the Lunar New Year, chances are you're going to see a lot of Hawaiian dances, and chances are you're going to see a lot of that no matter what festival you go to that really celebrates the Chinese culture. And hey, it's very popular and it's definitely something that's very cool with the kids, so why not go ahead and have a little bit of fun dressing up as Hawaiian and just entertaining some people. Finally, the fifth and last fun fact I'd like to talk about here is that it usually ends with a lantern festival and some fireworks. Now obviously the lantern festival would usually come on the 15th and final day of the Lunar New Year, in which people would light up the lanterns and then just let them fly off in the sky, you know, just like balloons and all that stuff. They would usually just fly them off and just let them go off on the coast and just watch them in the big dark sky. And of course it's only fitting that they do that at the same time that they have the fireworks display. Now obviously they have theirs to celebrate their New Year just like we do here in America, so obviously why not? Every single place that has that New Year celebration, you have to have the fireworks because it's just not fun without them. So obviously they save that for the very last day of the year, but there are some that usually have that at the very beginning of it or sometime during the middle of it whenever they just want to pop off some fireworks or two. It's a tradition that really goes on for every single Lunar New Year. Chances are if you have a lantern with you on the very last day, you're likely going to use it as some sort of good luck charm, and just let it fly off while the fireworks go on. It's really just goes in hand, and it just only makes the end of the Lunar New Year, while sad, also very cool and very fitting. The Lunar New Year is a different kind of New Year celebration compared to what we do here in America because the Chinese celebrate in multiple ways, because it's usually a sign of forgiveness and also hope and also just a lot of fun for the future, obviously. And so the Chinese, they celebrate this with a 15-day bash and they do a whole lot of fun with it. And trust me, it's probably one of the coolest holidays there is in all of the world because trust me, the Chinese, they know how to celebrate the start of a new year. So to those that celebrate the Lunar New Year, I just want to say a happy early Lunar New Year to all of you, and I really hope that you enjoy the New Year. I can guarantee you that there will be a lot of peace and a lot of fun and joy for the upcoming year, and no better way to start it out than celebrating a 15-day New Year celebration. So to everybody that celebrates it, I just want to wish you a very happy Lunar New Year. Alright, so that's going to do it. Those are just a few fun facts about the Lunar New Year that I want to talk about here, but I know that there are a lot more fun ways that the Chinese usually celebrate the Lunar New Year. So I'd like to hear from everybody that's a part of the Chinese community. How do you usually celebrate your Lunar New Year? Is it in the same way that I mentioned here before, or is it in a completely more unique and fun way compared to what I talked about here today? Feel free to let me know in the comments below, and I'll be more than happy to hear about it. Anyways, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. As always, if you'd like to see more of my content, be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know my latest video is released. Comment below for future suggestions for all my videos, whether it's blogs, projects, or challenges, you name it. Leave it in the comments below and I'll do my best to make them. As always, follow me on my social media. All the links are in the description below. That's going to do it for this video. I hope you're having another great day. As always, I hope to see all of you again in another video very soon. So long, everybody.